Who doesn't love bloopers? We know we do, and we wanted to share some of the outtakes from our Rules as Written recordings. Enjoy these behind-the-scenes stories from some awesome DMs. Francesco from Hapless Heroes in the episode Critical Successes and Failures, Rob from Commute in the episode Multiclassing, and Jeremy from Midknight Kingdoms in the episode Jarlaxle.
Let me try to think of one of the ones that shines to me the most, if you don't mind holding for just a quick second. Because I was trying to think about this earlier, but now I'm torn.
It's a tough question. I know. I thought it was like a relatively easy question because I was like, oh, everyone has so many members, and then people are like, but I have to choose one? We're not going to hold you to it. It could be a favorite, not the favorite. We're not going to be like, well, I'm sorry, you've committed to this memory forever. You can't ever enjoy any of the others.
And it's recorded and out there on the internet, so you can't go back and change it.
Actually, we did have a request from someone like, hey, if I change the story I wanted to tell, can you replace it later? Like, I guess we'd be open to it.
Sure.
So let's see.
Sorry, that was all off topic. Tony can decide whether to keep that in.
We never get off topic.
In our bloopers. We're getting quite a lengthy bloopers episode right now. Of other stories.
So much.
I'm doing the same thing with our banter that I record before we start recording, because it's just the best.
Yeah, because everyone's like all warmed up and excited and then babbling, pretty much is what we found. Yeah.
Yeah, I've shown Bethany a little bit, but there's so much more.
So, on to our topic? Yes.
Can Grendo get drunk and tell Sai that it will be his destiny to pull cards?
To explain, Grendo is their,
NPC.
one of the NPCs they're very attached to, and Sai is our player character who's driven entirely by his destiny, so they've learned they can manipulate him by pretty much saying, but it's your
Sai, it's your destiny to go punch that guy.
And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or say it like, this will help you get closer to your destiny.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay. Even though Chris is like, I hate you.
Yeah, Chris is like, oh, you guys are the worst. He's stupid, okay? It's not his fault.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. That was all off topic, but I'm glad we talked about it because it's definitely... I think, well, it's sort of off topic, but I agree with your point about it. It's hard to know how many checks to make people to make sometimes.
Yeah.
Checks.
Yeah.
Checks. But maybe it also depends on how much your players like to make checks. And I have a very check-happy group. They want to make a check for anything or everything. They're like, if they can start warming up their dice, I'm like, nothing's happened yet. They're like, oh, we're ready.
You smell
We've had to restrict it
I want to make a
sometimes.
check to see what kind of bread.
Right. It's interesting because if it fluctuates, at least with my group, it fluctuates, where we have a lot of really roll heavy sessions. And then there's some where we've maybe I think we had one episode we were planning a heist. We had one die roll the entire episode because it was all just role play and making plans and rule of cooling stuff because it's just too brilliant not to let happen. And it really just, it changes. It ebbs and flows. Because sometimes maybe it makes a lot of sense to have a lot of skill checks because you're now executing on a lot of these things that you've been planning. So, but you don't want to overdo it. It's it's another thing. And I know that it's a topic that you guys even wanted to discuss was how it speeds up and slows down the game, right? It's you don't want to just drag things on because you want to create, just an additional level of difficulty. You got to find that balance, right? Where you're moving things along. You're not just slogging people through skill challenges all the time.
Well, sometimes you only know if you found the right balance in retrospect, right? You look back and you're like, that was the right number of checks. Or you're like, that was totally disproportionate.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And there's a point where I'm like, I'm letting them roll too many insight checks. Literally all they do is talk to people and roll insight checks. We need to figure out
Did they lie about this sentence? Well, did they lie about their next sentence?
I was like, I've created monsters. What have I done?
Right.
But that brings up something I did want to talk about.
I mean, it's you mentioned you play with kids. I mean, we're all I'm going to be 30 this year. A lot of us are in our 30s and whatnot, since my younger brother on our podcast. So it feels like we're just a bunch of children. We're playing the game anyways because of sometimes how childish our characters will act or just because, we're playing pretend together. So might as well just let it all out and let that inner child shine, right?
It's not pretend, it's improv.
It's right. It is improv.
Yeah. And you say that, but Rachel does tell us how well we're doing in comparison to the kids, and we all feel pretty good about
You have
ourselves.
like a star,
We
you
get
have a
little
starboard
smug.
or
She's
something like that, like all the
I
gold stars
do.
that you're keeping track of.
Yeah,
Get a
we're
sticker.
Well, step
And
one,
she's like-
we don't eat the D4s.
Oh
we
my God,
don't
that'd
eat
be
the
awful.
D4s.
You say that, but apparently that's the most flavorful dice of them all because that's the one the kids stick in their mouth.
That's awful.
The D4
Of
of
all
all the dice. The D4.
It's worse than stepping on a Lego. Sorry.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, no, it's okay. There was one time we lost a D4, like it fell off of our table and I couldn't find it. I was like, if the dog ate it, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my gosh. I was like anxious about it for several hours till eventually I found it like in the track of our sliding glass door. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Not the D4. But, yeah, overall, we think we play like children, but Rachel, you could say
It's
it's different
very
with
different.
actual children.
It is. Like, there's night and day, and then there's kids. It's a whole different ballpark with kids.
Yeah. Yes.
Please.
It's also really hard to explain to kids death saving throws.
Oh,
Oh.
that's true.
Because they're like, am I dead? I'm like, you're not dead, you are dying. And they're like, so what does that mean? I'm like, and they're, keep in mind, they're between like 9 and 12, most of them.
Right.
So I have to kind of like gauge which kids are at the table, because some of them might be a little bit more squeamish or whatever. But I'm like, you are bleeding severely. And they're like, so I'm just bloody. I'm like, no, you are dying very quickly.
Yes.
Doesn't look good. And the one kid, he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, your guts are spilling on the ground. Your
Oh, gross.
intestines are outside of your body. And he's like, oh, so I might die. I'm like, yes, child,
Yes.
you may die. This was the one kid, I believe he had 2 fails and 1 success at that point. And I'm
Oh,
just
boy.
like, you don't understand the grave situation you are in. You're level 1. You have no healer. You have no cleric. Your other party
Oh,
member
gosh.
is like at 2 hit points,
Right.
and
like
you're bleeding out.
you're just like pretty much an average person right there.
You're just a
Right.
dude at that point who's just quietly dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, to be fair, I also did insta-kill a player character one time for failing a save. But in my defense,
Oh, this was okay. The Anathema Lich.
yeah, I created this monster I was really excited about. It was like it was an anathema lich. It was just like this horrible monstrosity that had an artifact, and they knew it was an artifact of like the god of death. And I think I've been pretty clear as a DM that I was telegraphing that it was very bad.
Okay,
As an
the
artifact
monk,
of-
the dumb monk, runs in all by himself, 60 feet away from all of us,
Yep.
and just decides, I'm going to go punch this Anathema Lich, hits him 4
the
times,
face.
and then stays there.
Oh, well.
At which point, one of the abilities of the artifact was used by the Anathema Lich, who went right after in initiative, and he failed the save, and the damage was enough that he, died.
Died.
He just died. So I'm totally breaking what I said earlier. I did have 1 roll, 1 failed save, but it was the result of poor decision making as well.
Right.
And I also knew that Rachel, as the dedicated paladin, would trundle in and
Do her
somewhat
job.
reproachfully save him.
Maybe
Right.
beat him up a little
Before
bit in
he
the process.
1 punch while he's still down, and then heal him.
Yeah. Lay on
Yeah,
hands
yeah,
with
so-
force.
Yeah, a little bit of a
like-
aggressive lay on hands.
Yeah, you get
you sort of
30
slap them a little bit.
You get 30 hit points back, but you lose 1.
Yep.
But overall, I did that one time, and I think I kind of regretted it a little bit, and wish I felt like maybe I should have done more to give him more of a chance. But in another sense, it was supposed to be a very deadly
Right.
encounter.
And it
So
was.
it was.
That's a quick
yeah,
lesson you
yeah,
learned
it
then,
was-
if anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. As a parent DM, I was trying to teach a valuable life lesson. Don't run away from the party and go and punch, anathema liches in the face.
And I believe he has learned that lesson valuably
He did.
as he
He has not
continues
done
to
the
do
same
the same thing.
It's true. He has not learned his lesson at all.
Some
But,
people never change.
That's okay. Yeah. It's just who his
Yeah.
character is,
It's his destiny to
Right.
do that.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, I think
Really takes the pressure off the DM for being the jerk in that situation.
It does, and at the same time, though, there's always a little bit of suspicion that you somehow used your wicked
It's your
DM
fault.
magic to curse the dice. It's still the dice, but maybe you, like, looked at them funny or something.
Cut that part out. I don't want people hearing about these secret powers that DMs are supposed to have.
Sorry. We'll hide that, yes.
All right, that will be removed now.
You're giving away the
Well,
trade
so-
secrets here.
Yeah, so we all take the DM oath. We get these magical powers that allow us to just influence things a little bit, just like a little bit of Jedi powers, perhaps. But for evil, obviously. So sorry, we're Sith Lords, quietly. In secret. Yeah. At the other end, confession as a DM, I made lots of mistakes with magic items early on in my campaign because I'm like, magic items are cool and fun.
Oh my god, I did the same thing. I did the same thing in my first campaign.
Yeah. Tony's laughing at me because I made the biggest mistake with him. So I'll tell you my story, Francesco, and then you tell me yours.
Okay, sure.
I accidentally made the mistake of giving Tony's character a Vorpal sword that is particularly, like, sentient. It's a story-driven thing where she was, like, his mentor. Like, I'm like, this will be really cool. And his character will probably be dead soon. And then they'll retire the sword, and I won't have to worry about it anymore because, yeah. Terrible idea.
Still alive.
Terrible idea. He keeps critting on, like, pretty much every enemy I don't want him to crit on. And even if he can't decapitate them with his natural 20, he still does, like...
68 plus 2d8 plus my maneuver
it's ridiculous.
damage.
It's absolutely
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. And I'm now like, well, part of me was like, I gotta figure out a way to retcon this or change it around. But I was like, I've made this mistake. I have to live with it. I have to adapt. And sometimes it just means fights will be abrupt and short because he gets in there, gets advantage, and makes the right choices and rolls that natural 20 and, it's over.
Right.
Reckless attack is amazing.
Yeah, Tony uses it to his advantage. So that's probably the magic item I made the biggest mistake on because I think in my head I thought crits aren't going to happen that often either. But I underestimated.
Yep.
He's a fighter, so he's just got so many attacks and he's always getting advantage. So they're statistically likely to happen within any given fight if there's multiple rounds.
Right. And some fighter abilities give you, let you crit on a 19 or 20. So
Thank goodness he doesn't have that, or I would just have been ripping my hair out.
No, I just used the trip attack to help me.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, what was your mistake? What'd you do wrong?
Well, I just used to want to hand out magic items because I didn't realize how much more weight they carried in 5th edition because I think that just the way that they can really change things up is, I think it's more significant than the 3.5 was because 3.5, because there was so much material, it was a lot easier to balance things around, players being in a more heavy magic campaign because you had a lot to throw at them anyways. You know what I mean? They could have all this cool stuff, but there's a lot that you could still do. And I had to learn that. Okay, so maybe I made my party a little overpowered with all these super cool weapons and armor and, whatever else, things that up their DC for their spells. So they were just breezing through everything. So I figured out, well, why don't I just start just throwing increasingly difficult stuff at them so that even all those magic items can't save them from,
A Tarrasque.
Exactly. Well, no, I wouldn't go that far.
Rachel's like, murder.
Look, I wasn't trying to kick everybody out and never want to play with me again, but
That's every DM's fear, I think, is deep down we're all afraid that we'll go just a bit too far.
Right.
And the players will rebel.
Right. So, I just had to learn to kind of tone it back and trust that, the whole guide in the Dungeon Master's Guide where it kind of tells you how many items, I think, or is it in Xanathar's Guide to Everything? I forget which one it's in, where it kind of gives you a general table of okay, at this level, this is how many roughly, on average, magic items they should have from the common category and the uncommon category. So I kind of very loosely sort of started following that because I was like, holy crap, I started giving these guys very rare or rare items way before they were supposed to have them.
And you're like, oops, oh well, things will get harder. It all kind of levels out in the end. Yeah, I definitely like magic items. They're cool.
They're
great. I think I've been trying to move more towards giving them things that are interesting but not useful.
Yes.
They recently had a shopping session in my game, and I think one of the items they were most excited about, it's a common magical item from Xanathar's Guide, and it's a Cape of Billowing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, as a bonus action, it billows. And they're like, how many do you have? We all need them. Like, this is
We're gonna
amazing.
look like the freaking Avengers coming up on the stage, like, ha ha.
Yeah, see,
like-
stuff like that is just flavor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
please, like that could run rampant in a campaign world. But like, you know, it's the heavy gameplay effecty ones. Like, you know, I would never throw a deck of many things into my campaign unless I was trying to end it. For example.
I gave them one, and it's tormenting them. It's possibly the
Yes.
most awful thing I've done to the party, is they have it, they know what it can do, and they're just holding it.
We want to use it, but we're also terrified.
It's currently just hidden away, and
Right.
that is all it is doing.
But I gave it to them knowing that this would be, like, a central conflict that would evolve throughout the stories. They're
Right.
like, we could pull a card. Should
Knowing
we pull
that
a
as
card?
players, we're all like, yes, but as characters, we're gonna be like, no.
No.
Right, like this could go horribly, horribly wrong for everyone.
It's hard as a DM to handle and balance all of this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we all make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's a learning curve.
It is. It is.
is that the
Yeah.
gesture for learning curve?
Learning
Yes.
curve.
Curve. Because then you go down.
I noticed that I noticed you left it on the downhill.
Yeah. Cool.
Did I ask you a
So,
question? I don't remember. Where were we?
yes, you did.
Yes,
Tell us
yes,
what
you
you
did.
were creating.
Midnight Kingdoms.
Yep.
We embrace the stereotypes.
Uh-huh. The
Yeah.
good ones. The good ones.
Sure.
Yes.
Not the bad ones like the improper hygiene and,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
those.
We are all well showered.
Yes.
Yep.
Most of us.
Yep.
Most of us.
Yep.
I am in the basement, though.
But it's not
But
your
it's not my
parents'
mom's.
basement.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, no judgment if it was, okay?
Ah, more meatloaf!
No, it's more Mountain Dew
Oh,
and Doritos.
And
You have the
Doritos.
Doritos.
Oof.
Yep.
and it's 100% true. Because that's where we
Yeah.
played. It was in my friend's parents'
Oh,
basement.
yeah.
And it was always a pick and save run.
Man.
Walking around in our trench
s-
coats and combat boots.
Oh,
Remember, it was
Were you
1994.
two halflings in a trench coat?
oh no, two halflings in a trench coat.
Unfortunately not, because that would have been amazing.
I need to make a character like that, Tony, by the way. If Elaine dies,
You're like,
can I? Can I please?
We'll
Tony.
talk later.
Tony's the parrot way of saying, well, I'll think about it, means no.
Probably not.
Hey, actually, Devin, I don't think I've told you Chris's backup character. Remind me to tell you later about how his soul will be put into, what was it, a Gear Forge or Warforged?
Warforged Artifice.
Yeah.
Or Warforged,
He
cleric,
wants
I
to
guess.
have Leuven make him a Warforged and then become one.
Well, hey.
Was
we
this
got-
his
we got-
Iron Man? Wait, was this his Iron Man concept?
Yes.
He mentioned that. I didn't realize that was his backup character.
Yeah, that's his backup character. I mean, it's basically the same character, just,
In a metal body.
yeah. Anyways,
All right, let's focus.
Focus.
Oh,
as well as Artemis and Triri, pretty much.
We haven't
I don't know who that is.
we haven't
so-
done an episode on Artemis and Triri yet.
I thought we did.
No.
yeah, you did.
We did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
He's the assassin, the one that
I was
uses
about to
his
say.
thumbnail in order to pick locks.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did talk about this. Oh my gosh, sorry, that was a long time ago. I was like, did we
I was
actually
about to say,
record
like,
it?
no, this is why I'm mentioning Artemis and Triri, because we definitely did an episode on him.
Oh, it's been a while. I like Artemis and Triri.
Yeah.
Overall, he's kind of a cool weirdo, which I respect.
Again, he's number 2 on my list for.
number two.
That-
Of,
Yeah.
That jewel dagger.
Just
That's
Rachel's-
a nasty weapon.
Rachel's just like, I don't remember any of this.
I don't remember this at all. This was a while ago, apparently.
I believe this ended with you being more accepting of him than of Drist.
Well, I mean, that's not saying a lot because.
But
I think he-
anyways,
Anyways, Jarlaxle. Yeah, I think he has actually 2 of them, because in the latest books, he got the uber powerful sword Cassidy.
oh, that's right. Who's like this sword that is nothing but trouble for everyone.
Yeah, it constantly bends them to its will, and he takes it, stares at it, and forces it to his will. And I'm not kidding.
Because, of course.
He actually, like, the pommel of the sword is supposed to mimic, like, the wielder after he's slowly been corrupted by the sword. He forced it, like, no, I want it to look like a displacer beast. And it did.
Because
it's like, never mind, you're right, you win.
Yeah, it's a sentient sword that's like, oh,
that gave up.
yes. After like literally making people kill themselves, like
Yeah.
really evil sword.
Oh, a lot of like, oh, you're not worthy, you're not. And then Jarlaxle is like, thank you, you're mine now.
I'll determine who's worthy.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody's ever done that.
There was a DM once who took away our stuff.
Just some DM, sometime in the past.
Sometime in the past.
In the
it
tales-
was a learning mistake.
The tales of yore.
I believe the individual who was under the DM's control was nearly set on fire after oil was poured all over them.
I didn't actually set him on fire. I threatened it. To set him on fire. There is a clear distinction that people do not acknowledge. When someone steals your stuff, you are allowed to... My character was a sorcerer.
Hey.
I solved problems with fire. I didn't have a lot of other tools in my,
I was remembering my character was going to, like, kneecap him and then just leave him out in the middle of the woods. And say,
Oh, there were so
"Hey,
many threats.
good luck."
I was like, oh my gosh. They've just become the most murderous hobos of,
took
like, any
our
murder hobos.
stuff.
We got our stuff back.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
he got to live.
Well, yeah, we didn't kill him. He actually was fine. Maybe, like, super traumatized, but, that seemed fair at the time.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
I have all the. I don't throw anything away, so I have everything sitting over a binder that I'm looking at right now.
yeah, I know a few
Nice.
people that have D&D or other tabletop RPG binders of things
Oh,
that
yeah.
they've been working on. I feel like maybe I'm in the minority. I don't keep stuff. I'm just like, nope. I mean, I make an idea if I can use it. Otherwise, it gets dumped in a Google Doc, and then
I
maybe
have
I'll look
all
back.
my Google Drive files of my Out of the Abyss campaign that ended last year.
Yeah.
I have so many files.
I can
and
imagine.
So many binders.
All the binders.
All the binders.
I just have one binder.
I like going to Office
character
Max.
sheets.
Who doesn't like going to Office Max?
Yeah.
It's on the list of places I'm not supposed to go by myself, or maybe not supposed to go to with Rachel, because
Definitely not.
we reinforce each other. Like, man, I need different colored Post-it notes.
You do, yeah.
I love buying office supplies; they're the best.
They really are.
Do they have glitter there?
I mean, they have everything there. Okay, not everything. Everything except all the other stuff. Then you go to like Joanne Fabrics, and then you get everything, or Michael's, or Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, Michael's.
I can't
It's
go to.
it's good stuff.
I can't go to used bookstores.
Yeah.
it's-
I'm not. I would say I'm not allowed. That sounds like Tony has forbidden me, but it's more like we've made an agreement.
We each are not
pact
allowed to
has
go
been
by
made.
ourselves. It's okay if we go together because
There you go.
we will talk the other one out of something if
Talk him down to the
yeah.
That's the theory, anyways.
Is that why we
does
left
it work?
the used bookstore in London with like 20 books?
No, it wasn't that bad. We didn't fly back from London with 20 books.
Okay, 10?
It was like 8. It was like 8 books.
I'm pretty sure it was like 10.
And most of those were gifts. It's okay if they're gifts. That doesn't count.
Gifts for yourself don't
No,
count.
not for
Bethany.
me.
I would agree. They don't count.
Yeah. So, this is just that's 3 bookshelves behind me.
Those are the small bookshelves. Wait, no,
This
are those
is
the big
just the
ones? Those are the
one.
big
This
ones.
is a small sampling of the thousands upon thousands of books I have. I have a problem.
So I'm a collector.
Mm.
So
I try to say I'm a collector, but then I think Rachel said, no, you're just a hoarder. And I'm like, no! I love them. They're my children.
So,
you look like a collector because they all look very organized.
They are very organized.
These are mostly organized.
they're somewhat organized.
They were organized when you took them off the shelf at the old house.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
that
organized.
is true.
They're organized at least by genre.
Yes.
But
Well, actually,
She
most
doesn't
of the
have her
Star
Dewey
Wars books
Decimal
are
System
together.
in place yet.
wait,
But soon.
what'd you say, Tony?
Most of the Star Wars books are together. The series
Yeah.
books are together.
I'd say I think there's Star Wars books over
I
there.
can see them over your shoulder.
Over there.
Oh,
I have the D&D books in this room.
yeah. All
I
the
saw them behind you the other day.
Yeah.
A stack of them.
the stack of all the D&D books.
No.
Yeah, he's a collector.
He's a collector.
We're going to use Jeremy's word, collector. It's a collection for reasons. I need them.
I'm not
Uh-huh.
Are
addicted.
you secretly a dragon?
Yeah, right, Jeremy. I can quit anytime I want. I just don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would I want to?
Yeah, I know.
It's priceless. It's history.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. we could come up with 1,001
Oh, yeah.
justifications for needing this. I'm like, I don't have other vices. I don't even drink. Let me have this. I need something. I collect cats and I collect books.
Let's keep focusing on the books for right now. We have a lot of cats.
It's true. It's true.
They're so fluffy.
Yeah, they're quality cats. Only the highest quality of weird cats. So, taking it back to our actual
Jarlaxle.
topic.
Hey, welcome back.
Axel, huh?
Yeah, Tony will cuddle. Oh, save it for bonus content.
I have so much bonus content.
Yeah. For all those vampires. Right?
No, werewolves.
Isn't that what you would use?
Werewolves.
Werewolves, there we go, sorry.
Whatever those things are.
Come on.
One of those, like, bad creatures that need special things.
I mean,
I think Jeremy cares about these distinctions, Rachel.
I do.
I know.
It is very, very important to me.
It comes up, in your game a little bit, probably for
Comes up.
vampire. A little bit, a little bit.
strange.
They're not all the same. You can't just lump them all together and say, they're all bad.
One of those
It
creatures
is a very
that does
important
things.
distinction.
a stake through the heart of a werewolf would do the same thing, right? No? Not quite?
You're such a troll.
You're like, yes, bait him.
You know my buttons. I'm never coming out here
Why did I
again.
sign up for this?
No, we like having you here.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, this is fun.
By the way, Tony was also excited when I first was like, hey, who wants to talk about Jarlaxle? And Rachel's like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, yeah, I'll talk about it. And you were like, Jarlaxle!
Yeah, I'm
As
like,
soon
what's
as
a
you were like,
Jarlaxle?
oh, Jarlaxle, I'm like, yes!
Yeah. Like, this will be a good conversation.
And I'm not even caught up on the most recent books. I think I'm like 6 or 7 behind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tony is more caught up. I actually paused on reading the books because they overlap with the Artemis campaign, so I was trying
she was
to
not allowed
find
to
out
read
stuff.
the cause of what was going on because that was actually the same in the books as it is in the module. So I'm like, all right, you can read everything if you want up to this chapter, but otherwise just no. And she's like, I'll wait.
I'll come back to it later. And
Just no.
yeah, and I haven't yet, but
But nobody dies then. He always brings them back.
yeah, that's true. It's
Tony's side.
Well, okay. It's because
I know why he's sighing.
it's because of the most recent book specifically.
Oh, did it happen again?
Something happened, and it.
oh,
I told you, Bethany. I'm not going to spoil it,
yes.
but
Was it-
someone gets brought back, and I
was
was
not-
actually like upset.
Was
Not
it
just dead, but like so like dead that we moved on. Dead.
was it another Wolfgar moment?
Worse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because at least Wolfgar had a little bit of. They went back into his backstory with it. Which,
They explained it a
They
bit,
explained it a
and
little bit.
I'm wondering if they're going to do. I know they're releasing another Driss book in not too long, but oh my gosh, the final book. I don't even remember what the book's name is now, but the final book ends, and I'm just like, no, just no. I refuse to accept this happened.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, I get the idea of not wanting characters to die or to have them come back and have their stories continue. I think that's a temptation. But I also could say this as a DM and a player who's never had like an epic death yet. So, yet.
I have.
That
They've
wasn't
been brought
retcon.
back, but I have
It
only
wasn't
killed
retcon.
one
Yeah,
character.
Rachel's killed me once, but she let me go back and try again because it was
There
so
was a chance
traumatic.
to
It
I
was the
died
first
by
time playing.
by like blacksmith hammer. I walked into a room and died.
Exploded, I think, is the term.
No, it wasn't died. It was erased from ever existing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because
I did
it
so
didn't
much
even hit her
damage.
negative max, but it like
It hit
doubled
like 3
that,
times her negative. Yeah, it was.
It was
and she was at full health.
So,
Yep.
other than that, which Rachel was like, hold on, we misread a rule. Do you want to try again? I was like, please.
It wasn't Mr. Rule. You had your weasel.
Oh, yeah,
that didn't
my-
go.
Yeah,
my
because they're like,
familiar,
oh
like-
shoot, the weasel should have,
familiar.
or the feasel should have gone at the end of my turn. It's like, okay, if this thing kills the blacksmith, you live, and she killed the blacksmith.
He only had 1 hit
Yeah.
point left.
Yeah, it just needed to hit
It's
it.
like,
I bet you he likes books too, though.
Jarlaxle?
Oh.
He probably reads.
I'm sure he does.
probably.
What do you think he reads?
Smut.
Yeah, I'm thinking smut. The lusty Argonian.
Yeah, just something.
Interspecies erotica.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense, but also was horrifying to
It
think
is.
of. Like,
Well, just the
Oh.
whole idea of removing myself from a pile of bodies that
Yeah.
aren't dead.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
living bodies. Totally fine.
And it didn't
What's
seem
your
like it was
Saturday
any
look like?
special thing for him. He was just like, oh, okay, come on, let's get down to work. He just got up and just went about his day.
Okay.
Cool.
Guys,
Second hurdle.
first try.
Good. We're good.
Nobody stuttered on their name. Nobody forgot what their name was. It's going so well.
Nobody said anything weird.
All right.
I was
so,
this close to saying Eric, but then I
yeah.
plowed
You're
through it.
like, you're like, okay, no, it's Rob. Focus in. Focus
Remember,
in.
Witness protection. Witness protection.
That would explain so much. Yeah, but no. So this is not an interview question, but it's just a question. Are you an angry driver? I know you live in Orlando, so like, is that going to affect your podcast?
I'm not an angry driver. I tend to
Okay.
be very, very zen about it, especially in the mornings.
Mhm.
I'm not awake enough to be angry, so which makes it just sound more like I should be thinking about stuff other than the road and talking about that while I'm driving and sleeping.
No, there's like two approaches to driving around here. Either you like chill out and you're like, what happens will happen. That's me when I drive. Or you're like, not that Rachel's a good driver, but she is an angry driver.
I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I am defensive. I like
But,
people
like-
to know how good they are.
Those are basically equivalent in Orlando. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, basically. So,
'cause- I've just accepted the fact that my 8-mile drive is going to take 35 minutes. So it's
oh man, I had a almost 20-mile drive and that took 35 minutes.
yeah,
Because it's Orlando.
yep, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
True.
like filling a party need, totally go for it. Like that's kind of why I like the bard dip.
Yeah.
Is just I don't think anybody's going to be super concerned with somebody just handing out little buffs.
They're like, oh, stop inspiring me. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Get out.
Oh my gosh, I really don't like your poetry, but yes, I'll take your increased chance to hit.
Okay, funny you brought that up, Rob. This is
Oh, I hit a
unrelated.
nerve.
No. Okay, so
Okay.
Tony or Rachel, explain to us what happened in our stream
Rachel.
on Friday.
No, Rachel, explain.
So Woohee was the most amazing character I think I've had to play. I made it's a Scathari, which is like an insect creature, barbarian wrecker. So like their focus was they get to negate resistances and stuff of constructs. So basically, if you're a construct, I'm like laser sight focused on you and I rip you in half. And I rolled randomly for my personality traits and things, and I got that like I was exiled for tax evasion. And, you know, just random things like that. But the best was that, I think it was my bond?
Yeah, it was a core to your character's
was your
being.
bond.
Is that I do poetry in my spare time. So there was so much poetry in our one shot.
I love it.
It was awful and amazing.
Yeah.
So, of course, it wasn't just poetry,
slam
it was
poetry.
slam poetry.
Because she's a barbarian.
Specifically, because
Yeah,
barbarian.
I'm so happy that this exists. That does my heart so good to hear that this is a thing.
It was so much fun.
But there are points for her. She's like, okay, everyone's gathered around. All right, time for some poetry. We're all like, please, no. Please.
Please no, don't make me listen
There's-
again.
Is there anywhere we can go? We can't get out. We're trapped here.
It's basically she waits till they're like, oh, I'm going to be fixing this in this room. It's like, oh, well, I'm also working on this in this room. It's like, guys, you're all here.
Glad
Great,
you came
can't
to my
leave. Here
poetry
you
session.
go.
Thank you for showing up.
Hitchhiker's Guide, Vogon poetry. just-
I mean, it's not unlike what happened. Yeah.
It was amazing.
So sorry. That is totally unrelated to rules, but was funny that you mentioned that. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you ever want to play a character that the party loves, slam poetry.
Do some poetry.
Slam
Lots
poetry.
of snaps.
Yeah.
So now that we're completely off topic, what were our questions? Let me go back.
I don't know.
Okay.
I could have warned you that was going to happen when I start talking about stuff, but
We always anticipate. I think I got, just as a side note, we recorded with Mike and Giuseppe for 3 hours. An hour of that is all just bonus content because it had nothing to do with what we were
Story
talking
time.
about.
We love story time.
Yay.
Yeah. All right.
We do.
So
It's
I can
awesome.
take it back to the questions.
I tend to die so often as a character
Oh, no.
that I don't really plan on hitting any kind of high level. Like, it's very much for today. Like,
You live for the
Like,
now.
I've died enough that basically every character I ever play has a con score way higher than you need for the class and is proficient in perception. That is a guarantee for any character I play. They will have proficiency in perception. I need to see what's coming to try and not die. And I will have a lot of HP.
So, not to sound judgmental, perhaps this ties to your approach to playing a character. I believe earlier I mentioned you're like, I love when things go wrong.
I know, but I mean, like, it's tough to get flowing when things go wrong when you just die.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Like, I want it to be a comedy of errors, not a snuff film. Like,
You want that sweet spot where things are bad, but not too bad.
yeah, I want to overcome. I don't want to succumb.
Yeah.
It's
Actually, that's basically my motto as a DM. I want them to overcome. I don't want to TPK them, please.
exactly, yeah.
Oh, it got close a couple times, but yes.
DMs need to have fun too, people.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean that this can do? You mean completely stops my big bad from doing his big thing? Cool.
All right.
Fun.
That's never happened, Tony.
Well, that big bad's damage is all psychic now, so
I have never done that to a barbarian, the totem of the bear. Just the 3 times.
Tony's a diabolical DM. I'm relatively nice, all things considered, as a DM. I'm like, hey, you guys win. Great job. High fives all around.
You just bring about, like, the snobbiest,
Yes.
most conceited characters that we hate.
I've been DMing for you guys for a while. I'm like, there's nothing so good as destroying a baddie that you really hate. So I just make them incredibly obnoxious because that's what you hate more. You don't hate murderers like you hate jerks. Let's be honest.
We do not hate murderers like we hate jerks.
player characters are murderers.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But they're like,
Okay.
but they were so condescending.
We fought a wraith that, like, implied he was slowly draining the life force of orphan children.
Yeah.
Wiped him, dealt with that, done. But we had this guy who was so snobby and conceited, not a wraith, didn't do any of that murdering, but we were so much happier when we
Wait,
killed him.
hold on. Which one?
Yeah,
I'm
Mike, which
honestly
one is
not
it?
sure. Which one are you
I was
thinking
thinking of the... Oh, no.
Reginald?
Sorry, not the guy. The, Arisi.
Oh.
I was thinking Arisi, not
the
Reginald.
leader of the
Reginald was conceited, but
the leader of the air cultists.
yes.
Sorry, obviously this is a trope I have deployed too many times, and I'm like, which one was it? I've made more than one obnoxious
No,
character.
we just wanted to beat up Reginald
Yeah,
several
Reginald
times.
was so obnoxious.
Sorry, that guy was just a snob. That was literally, I wrote down for his character script, it just said, like, snob. And they're like, he's the worst. Let's kill him.
I don't
And then
care
they're
that
like,
he's
well, he
his
hasn't-
dad. Let's
he
kill him.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything evil yet. But flip side, he's really annoying. I feel like that's a good justification. We'll wait till he does something, then we kill him.
Yeah.
Embrace
Then
the
you just
murder
have to tease it out with the DM, just as the DM, just like, oh no, there's some plot in town tied to him. Is he the culprit? You don't know yet. Are you going to wait for
Close
evidence?
enough, murder.
Yeah, they're actually not too bad with the murder hobos. They just want to murder people, but they restrain
Yeah.
themselves. And then I'm very
That's-
proud. I'm like, you guys did so good.
Yeah, we're like we
Good
wanted
job.
to, but you... Fine.
Here's your moral victory. And everyone just groans and shrivels up.
Yeah, basically.
We'd let the people get kidnapped. Yay.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to repeat sad, tragic D&D stories, which are my
Nope.
favorite. But,
Be interesting.
I know the one that Bethany's excited for is for them to fully release the Psionicist with everything
yes,
else.
please finish the Mystic. I'm enjoying my Earth Arcana Mystic. Another reason I'm not multiclassing that Earth Arcana Mystic is because she's already too
It's already
overpowered.
broken.
So I can't really multiclass because that would be simply too much.
We've got the Artificer coming out presumably soon.
Yeah, that's what Nick's playing in Tony's game. So
Depending
it's pretty
on
cool.
how soon that comes out, I'll talk with Nick, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He's doing the Artificer Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah, we love trying out the Earth Arcana stuff and
Yeah.
then seeing, wow, this is really powerful. Oops.
Oops.
Isn't that how it always seems to go with the Unearthed Arcana? Is like, does this feel really overpowered to anybody else? Play a couple of sessions. Oh yeah, no, it totally is.
Is it just me or can I melt someone's brain at level 2? Is that too much? Is it too much? I mean,
Am I reading this right?
Are they just trying to get us excited about this class so when they release the book with the powered down version, I'm going to pay for it without looking at it?
You guys do remember Orenthal, where most of you were Unearthed Arcana classes, and the minimum CR I threw at you was an 8 for a level 5 party.
Yeah.
You remember that, right? You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome. We knew going in it was going to be like that.
Yeah.